Alright, time to get back onto the project here. So we left off last, we pulled off some parts for Ben to polish. So he took out a cam cover, a kicker cover, and a rim. So match up like this one, the front one is, so I can do the back wheel. So I'm waiting for that stuff to get done. I got these gas tanks on here that are not the good ones I have. I got the crappy ones, but I haven't decided if I'm going to use those or not. They're expensive, so I have some cheaper V-twin ones that are hand shift, so they're about a ½ inch wider than these. So I haven't decided if I'm using those yet or not. Here's a piece of crap seat I got laying around. It doesn't really impress me all that much, so I don't really like it. Some people do though. I'm sure I'll get comments. Got a few parts came in. Still got a few parts waiting to come in. I got some exhaust clamps and some stuff like that showed up. I got the air cleaner setup came in, which was this is the S&S stuff here. So this is a duplicate of a Harley filter, which is this one. This is what I want to put on the bike, is something like this on here. This is how the Harley one looks. So it sucks the air in from the back side here. And it's a pretty low profile, so I want to kind of duplicate that. But I'm not going to use this genuine Harley part because it's too valuable. It goes on real bikes like those ones over there. Real Harleys. Okay, so this is a repop cover here, which is looks about the same. Looks like about the same diameter. This is an Ultima air cleaner for their Ultima carburetor. Copies the S&S. So that's made to bolt onto the basic onto the S&S. So that would go on there like that. So it's round, which probably looks better in the teardrop for an old bike, but being open like this sucks. I don't like that at all. So my original plan was to take this cover here, put a hole in it, and bolt this one to it. Like that, put a hole in it, and then on the bike. Obviously it's a little short, so that was going to be a problem. This air filter that belongs in here is a lot taller than this one. This is the low one that goes in here. Here's the correct one for them. It's about a finger difference in height. Nice shade of blue instead of red. This one doesn't quite fit on there. It needs to have this lip radiused over a little bit. It'll fit on there. So we got to figure out how we get airflow in here because we have no provision for air like the back side. So if you put this cover up on here, yep, put the air filter on there. Like that, where it fits up real nice and tight like it belongs. There's no airflow. So the option is to have a little bit of a gap like this, which allow air to come in. So you still have the look, but you have airflow. Or I'm going to have to somehow open this thing way up in here and get some air in here. So you just about have to open this thing up completely on the bottom, which would really weaken it a lot. So I don't know how that would really work. No, actually you couldn't do that. What are you thinking about? That's the inside of the air filter, dumbass. You have to open up on the outside over here, and basically you would cut the whole backing plate away. It would be the only way that would work, I guess. And then the air filter would just be a cover that goes on there, and there'd be a gap on the back side so you can breathe around the whole thing, around the perimeter, but from the back side. That probably looks the best. Having a gap doesn't impress me very much. So now this thing here does not have the bolt in the center. See, it's in the center. It gets kind of thin. And basically the whole rest of this thing I don't need. I don't need all this thickness in here either. That just moves everything up higher. So, because you have to be able to put this down inside of here, obviously. So I haven't quite decided how much of this is staying and how much of it's going yet. I got a pretty good idea that most of it's going bye-bye. So what I got to figure out was the height difference between this here, which is 1 finger, otherwise known as 6-inch scale. Oh, good 1/2 inch. There's a 1/2 inch compressed. So you got a 1/2 inch plus roughly 2 inches, about 2.5 inches is the height of what these posts need to be. We're at 2.150 right now. And then you're going to have to take off the thickness of this to come up with the right height. Right now that's probably over 1/2 inch thick, that piece right there. Now these need to bolt onto here in order to give something to bolt to. There we go. It's right like that, up inside, see? So I'm going to have to blow off a bunch of that height there too. So like I said, I don't know how much of this we really need. You need to have the screw in here enough to hold it, but no more than that. And from what I can see, it's pretty thick in there. So this is going to be a cover. So all I really need is enough to hold this filter down to here, and everything else goes bye-bye. That sits down in there flush like that. So we design as we go around here. So a lot of this just needs to go bye-bye. So I'm not sure how thick this is here after you cut all this crap off over here. So we need to determine that and then start whacking on this thing. Once we get this thing cleaned up so we can start seeing what it really is, and we'll know. Worst case, we screw this up. Or if we don't even want to cut it at all. All we really need is a strap of metal from here to here that I can put this bolt hole through and hold it down. And eliminate all this other crap over here. This would be kind of flexible like this. Probably would eventually break out. Well, it'd break out this center hole here probably. That's the disadvantage if you blow that all out of there. These look like they can be drilled and cut cheaper. So we got to determine what we want to put on here. Is it worth keeping all of this material there, or is it worth blowing this off and eliminating a bunch of it? That is the question. I do like having this here to help center the airflow in, which will help the airflow a little bit. Assuming that's in there. It does line up with that. Kind of. Not exactly, but kind of. So it is worth kind of keeping that a little bit. The S&S donkey dick that sticks out does help airflow. And we are all about performance around here. So I gotta determine how much of that I'm going to keep. So these are on center. Yeah. Yeah, it's only $200 air filter. Just cut it all up. Who cares? This was $50 too. So $250 for an air filter. Oh, we forgot the element. Another $50. There you go. $300 air filter. Plus about an hour's worth of cutting. There you go. Want custom parts? They cost. And there should be a hardware kit in here. Ooh, look at all this junk in here. The first thing we do, we don't need any of this crap here, so we can fill up the garbage can. There we go. Look at all this junk we own. What the hell is this thing? Some kind of a gasket. I guess that's supposed to go right in that lip right there. Okay, yeah, that's nice. Maybe we'll cut that off. Excuse me. So these are the screws here that we're going to have to try to reuse a little bit. Ah, there's a donkey dick. There it is right there. Got to keep that too. Okay, so I'm going to take this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And I'm going to use this one here that's all scraped up for the cover. Check out that high flow air filter there. Now there is an air filter. Now that is a high flow item there. This is the factory standoff stuff here. This stuff's expensive. Look all the money I'm saving by not using original parts. See, the original parts cost way more than the aftermarket stuff does. Okay, it's just going to go inside when I get tired of freezing my balls off back here. So I'm going to put this over here. There's a good spot for it. Okay, that's what we got in here. More junk. There, out of my way. Oh, we kept the air filters for some reason. No, we didn't. Alright, so, more parts. See, I didn't videotape because I was ordering parts. So this is the lid that goes underneath the seat. Goes in here, covers up the battery, so you can still see from the side, if we use it. These are the rods that go down in here and bolt off the back of this, and clip onto those grooves down there, right there, those grooves. And these are battery rods, and then you have wing nuts up here to hold the battery lid on. Which has holes in it right here. So that's the battery box stuff. This is the reproduction bracket and the two spacers that replaces this screwed up Harley one. That has to go back here somehow. And we still only have one lug and not two. But this is the correct part. I still got to work on this battery box mount a lot. And the dumbass that said, why don't you just bolt it together in about 20 minutes? Well, come over and do it. Aftermarket parts don't fit Harleys, and they definitely don't fit Harleys that are not made for it. This bike never had that oil tank in it, dumbass. I thought he was watching the video. So there you go. So, these rockers are a copy of the genuine Harley rockers for drum brake. That's why we got the big sleeve in here. So these rockers are made for like a DNA style fork or a Paco that are on center. And they go right there, and they're a little thinner too, quite a bit thinner actually. And they allow you to run a 3/4 axle, which is what this wheel would take. It makes things a little easier. So I got a pair of those. These are the fancy studs that go in here instead of these ones. The only problem is these things are like 1/4 inch too long for some reason. Yeah, I knew that. Ain't gonna help me. Huh? And then I got this custom spring rod set, we don't need. The spring rod's a piece that goes through here. Extra parts. So these two parts here go on the front end. I have to take apart the fork to put all this stuff in and then make this all work, which will be fun. And I ordered up an axle, but that has not shown up yet. It'll be a rear axle that we'll have to cut down for the length I want. So more stuff. So I've got two different sets of exhaust clamps, and basically I'll use a muffler clamp that's not here, because these won't match up. These are not stock mufflers. Now this one here might be, this one here might work. And if it is, we'll use that. And I gotta get a bracket that comes off the frame here. So more stuff. All right, we're interrupted. We'll be back.